we have disclosure and feedback in relationship life cycles. So that's what this second video is going to look at, the idea of disclosure and feedback. Self-disclosure is sharing biographical data, personal ideas, and feelings that are unknown to other person. And feedback, of course, is the response that you get. So in looking at that, we look at the Johari window that focuses on, what people know about us and what, we want them to know, and then what we don't know but they know. So you have the open window, and the open window is, it's known to the self and it's known to others. Then you have the blind window, which is not known to self but it's known to others. So you don't know about it for yourself. So you may not be aware of a certain habit you have, but everyone looks on at you and know that you have that particular habit. Then we have the secret window, which is known to self and not known to others. Sometimes some of us have a lot of some of us have a lot of secret windows in that we know it, but we don't want other people to know that about us. And then lastly, we have the unknown window, which is not known to self and not known to others. An example would be you've never experienced something in particular and you're not familiar with your response or how you'll handle it, and other people have never pictured you or put you in that position before either, so they don't have a clue either, and everyone is uncertain. So that is the Johari window. And then we focus on the stages in a relationship. First, you have the beginning stage. And the beginning stage is where you focus on reducing levels of uncertainty and lack of knowledge, and you're sharing information about yourself so that the other person can understand you. So your goal in this level is to understand how the other person sees the world, how they view things, pretty much their point of view. And the more you talk at this level, the more you get to know the person, helps you to go into the next stage in relationship. You begin by communicating very general about non-controversial issues and topics. You ask questions about surface information, such as like where you grew up, what you like to do, and stuff like that. And then you develop the relationship slowly. Relationship can begin face-to-face or even online. Now with technology, you can start chatting with somebody online and then get to know them very personal. The next stage we have would be developing relationships. And developing relationships is where you disclose more to that person than you would just disclose to somebody who you're now meeting for the first time. You have more physical contact with that person. You're able to touch them. Whereas when you're now starting to chat with someone, you may not touch them, give them a handshake, give them a hug. As the friendship grows, you develop that, and then you move to actually being able to you want to spend more time with that person. You start doing lots more activities together with that person, and you share a lot more. And as you chat, the more you're able to disclose, and the more time you actually spend with that person. Then we have the maintaining of relationship. Maintaining a relationship means that both people participate in ways that keep the relationship at a particular level of closeness. You define, after you develop relationship, you decide what type of relationship you have. And if you're comfortable with you being at that particular level, then you try to maintain it. And so that if you are just regular friends with that person, you need to maintain that regular friendship, which means that you must have trust, you must spend time, you must listen to the person, respond appropriately to them, and you have to maintain that. Then you want to maintain your relationship by choosing to spend a lot of time together, face-to-face, where possible. If it's a long-distance relationship, then you want to make sure you do things like Skyping and calling and those kind of things to be able to be in communication with the person. You want to maintain a sense of willingness to, if they suggest it, for you to be willing to interact with the person. Relationships also must be guided by forgiveness. Know that if the person does something wrong, you're willing to be forgiven and understanding about it. And lastly, we focus on deteriorating and dissolving relationships. Sometimes there are just certain relationships that you have to end. There is no way it's possible in keeping that relationship. The less It's one of the areas that people find very touchy, and and it's not something that a lot of people talk about, but it is a area in relationship. You find that a relationship should dissolve if you are losing mainly your sense of self. You find that you can't trust the person. When you communicate with them, it's uncomfortable. You don't want to share things with them. That relationship actually has deteriorated, and so it's best that it dissolves. And the first sign that relationship is deteriorating is where you're not happy. You just get that feeling of unhappiness. The person does not make you feel comfortable with yourself. And once you start seeing signs of this, you need to examine the relationship, see if it's something that you want. And not all relationship, when there are struggles or you start feeling uncomfortable, that you must dissolve. Some you need to just maybe communicate, talk to the other person, and you're able to work it out. If you realize that it's not working out, then definitely suggest that you dissolve that relationship before it dissolves you. The most competent way to end a relationship is to be very direct, open, and honest. Don't lie about anything, and don't hide. Don't run from telling the person face to face. You need to be straight up. Interact with the person. Tell them how you feel or not. Tell them you choose not to tell them how you feel, but you have to end the relationship. Don't lie at all when you're trying to even end a relationship. So this chapter in total focus on the level of interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication helps develop and maintain relationships. A good relationship is any mutual satisfying interaction with another person. There are 3 different types. You have acquaintances, are people who we know by name and talk with, but with whom our interactions are limited, and in what we say to them, how we say to them, and how much we say to them. Friendships are marked by our degree of warmth, affection, trust, disclosure, commitment, and expectations that relationship will endure. Close or intimate friends are those with whom we share a high degree of commitment, trust, interdependence, disclosure, and enjoyment. A healthy relationship is marked by a balance of self-disclosure and feedback. The Johari window is a tool for analyzing this balance, helping us to identify the information in our relationship through relationships that are open, hidden, secret, and or unknown. Relationships go through a life cycle where you start with beginning, developing, maintaining, and perhaps deteriorating or dissolving it. In the first stage of beginning a relationship, we try to get to know the person to reduce that level of uncertainty. If we decide to develop that relationship, then we engage in more disclosure, experience feelings of relaxation and confirmation. You just become so comfortable with the person. There are various ways to maintain a relationship, including spending time together, meeting at merging social networks, exchanging phone numbers, chatting on different social medias. You make sacrifices and you're forgiven. When relationships deteriorate, we tend to recognize feelings of dissatisfaction, notice the other person's faults, experience more conflict,